on, let's go in. Come on.
What are your thoughts about sustainability, and what measures have you taken towards it?
Sustainability is a cycle. It's circular. It goes in a circle and it becomes, that's what sustainability, that one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And if you look outside, nature is sustainable. Trees lose their leaves, the leaves give back the nutrients to the tree roots. Buffalo eat the grass and they shit on the grass, and then that feeds the fungi and the microorganism in the soil, which gives them good grass again. And it's that thing of not wasting anything. When you prepare food, think of what the animals in your yard can eat. Oh, the chickens will eat that. Strawberry tops, or the goats will eat that. The pigs will eat this. The horses like that. Okay, so nothing goes to waste. And then, I don't know, I pretty much believe in this, but I also, in the old days, bought my food at markets. I think in 1970, I read Sugar Blues and Silent Springs, and I wanted to change everything that I was doing and be conscious of where my food came from. And I had 3 kids. Well, I only had 2 then, but pretty much threw away everything that contained sugar in the cupboard, which didn't leave much. And then went around trying to look for food that hadn't been sprayed with DDT. Back then it was DDT. And then I watched the whole health food movement kind of blossom from that farm stand into Mrs. Gooch's market in LA. She was a market that was trying to have organic back then, and that was in the late 70s, early 80s. Now I'm seeing the health food store mimic conventional food. So unless you're going in there for the vegetables and for the fruit, you got to be just as careful now with the organic packaged processed food. You know, I grow my own meat, and I eat the animals and the eggs and the milk, and had a pig that I did slaughter, and try to stay away from government sanctioned food.
And I've also noticed you mentioned not wasting anything. You're probably the least wasteful person maybe I've ever met.
Oh, okay.
In this country.
That's a good compliment. Thank you.
You know, and it's very impressive. And
we're not being very sustainable as a world. I think we need to get rid of a lot more people. America's doing a good job of that, making everybody sick. It's good. I hear that the population is going down in America. People can't have babies. So we're in a good point, you know, of reducing. People.
At what cost, though? Because I also believe overpopulation is one of the biggest issues facing our planet, and that we need to reduce it, but at what cost? You know, we're talking about America's methods of making our people sick, but what's the long-term effects of that as opposed to, you know?
Well, think back, we had World War I that killed how many millions of young men? 20 million? 20 million? Anyway, there was a lot of young men that went to war and got killed. World War II, another. I mean, just in Russia alone, it was 23 million people died of starvation and whatever. It really stopped the population from climbing. And then in 1950s, we developed a vaccine against something and took it to India and saved a lot of babies' lives. But we didn't do any more than that. These babies grew up. There was no school, no housing, no work for them. So they ended up dying of starvation in the streets of Calcutta, where Mother Teresa was there trying to help them. But the cart would come and pick up dead bodies every morning for the people that died. Death is not a terrible thing because we come back, you know, and there is no death. There's a wonderful book called We Don't Die by George Anderson. And he talks about the fact that there is no death. We are beings that come for a space of time. We have this family, we do these things, and then we pass through the curtain and we wait until the next time that we come back. And he is a mystic. He's on TV now, but this is a book about when he was young and how he was able to see spirits from the other side of the curtain, and that they can talk to him, and he translates and tells the people, don't be sad, your mother is fine, she's very happy where she is, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking that the cost is death, I don't think that's the cost, but the cost is suffering before you die. So you have to suffer through diabetes, you have to suffer through arthritis. You have to suffer through these things.
And what I'm thinking about is more of the long-term consequences of we're producing all these diseases and then they're being passed down, genetically.
It's not genetics.
The gene pool.
Listen, if a grandmother bakes chocolate chip cookies and taught it to the mother, and the mother teaches it to her daughter, and the daughter then teaches it to her daughter, that's genetics for me. Because that chocolate chip cookie is going from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And everybody says, oh, great-grandmother made this, That's poison. Pure poison. And that's what's making people sick. And it's nothing to do with genetics. Because that's the side that doctors want you to see. It's, oh, you can't help it. You just go ahead and eat those chocolate chip cookies. Yes, your great-grandmother used to make it. Yes, you have diabetes. But, we'll give you this pill, and then you can go ahead and eat those chocolate chip cookies. Well, if your mother had diabetes and your grandmother had my mother had diabetes. Her mother died of diabetes. And I'm probably genetically prone to having diabetes, but do I eat sugar? I'm 74 years old. I have black hair. Because I don't eat rice, I don't eat carbs, I don't eat sugar, a lot of it. And has nothing to do with genetics. But genetically, if I were to eat rice like they do in China, I would have diabetes. That's just what I'm eating. It's about food. It's not about the genetics. You can bypass genetics if you're eating properly. It's all about what you put in your mouth. Yeah.
I gotta play a little devil's advocate here, I guess. Because I'm in the same boat. My dad and my grandma both developed type 2 diabetes, but do you think I'm going to?
No, you're not going to, because you know now.
Right. And
you got here and you saw how we can eat, how you can eat. I don't think you can go back to potato chips and pretzels.
I stopped eating potato chips a long time ago. What is the biggest challenge you have seen?
Challenge in growing food? I have no challenges.
No.
I share the food with everybody. So birds eat the raspberries, the first. It's like gophers like to eat broccoli, so I don't grow broccoli. I mean, aphids love broccoli too. But it's all good. If I want broccoli bad enough, I'll buy it. Because I can't grow it. My wild animals like it. I like to feed the wild animals too. So just had the bobcat came and killed the chickens, but mountain lion killed all my goats, the herd of goats that Genghis Khan had. It was 7 of them, and killed the sheep. And I was very happy to feed him. I did not tell the authorities about him coming. I didn't say anything to anybody. I just, what he left behind for me, I butchered and put in my freezer. And I'm still eating some of the sheep that he left. And so it's all good. There's no, why should I prevent the wild animals from eating anything that I have? They have every right to it, because I'm on their land. Yeah, I don't even take that as a challenge. You know, the government, if you want to sell anything, you got to wash your produce in Clorox. You got to soak your eggs in Clorox and wash it and everything. So I don't sell it. You know, that's crazy, wanting to sterilize the food. You need the bacteria on that food. I don't even wash my food when I get it in from the garden. We just eat it. So, I don't know. A challenge is getting it out to the public.